Respawn releases a brand new Battle Royale title. EA and DICE are still completely disconnected when it comes to what players want in the Battlefield franchise. And Kabal looks goddamn amazing. Last week, I was out due to the weather. Literally, I had the flu and the snowpocalypse rained down almost a foot of snow here in Seattle. But it's time for the snow to melt and get back to work. Apex Legends was released. I was able to play it for about an hour and a half, and it's just as boring as every other Battle Royale title out there. I know people love those type of titles. You guys can enjoy it as long as you like, but for me, I'm all about the team deathmatch or the big 64-man conquest when it comes to my first-person shooters. However, Skill Up, another YouTube reviewer, did an amazing job putting together why this game is doing so well. Innovation through amalgamation. And this is also the same type of strategy we saw from Square Enix after they took away Final Fantasy XIV and the giant disaster it was. Put together all of the good parts and pieces from different MMOs throughout the years, and then re-released Final Fantasy XIV to the acclaim of many. The story was still horrendous. However, the gameplay, the music, and the overall experience was still pretty grand, and I was able to get a late level or max level white mage, enjoy the experience, but once the endgame content wasn't there, you had to wait for the next expansion, and so on and so forth. However, that was innovation through amalgamation. They took all the best parts and pieces, all the lessons that had been learned from other game developers in that space, put it all together, and released their title. And I feel that's what Respawn has done with Apex Legends. Respawn Entertainment putting together some great multifaceted and multi-layered type of multiplayer when it came to Titanfall. You had the pilots and you had your Titans, and the mix between the two worked. Unfortunately, it wasn't as big as they had hoped. Titanfall 2 was smack dab in the middle of a lot of other big shooters and did not have the same success I'm pretty confident a lot of the executives would have liked to have seen. Now, take a step back. Respawn decides themselves to put together this Battle Royale, and they took kind of the best of what Overwatch had to offer, the best of what PUBG had to offer, but honestly, it's kind of the best of what Black Ops or Blackout has to offer, because it seems to be the upgraded version of what PUBG was in the past, and have come out with their own Battle Royale. It is fun to play in terms of the different characters and the nuances that you can have with the different abilities that they have throughout the game. But again, it comes down to your personal preference of, do you like Battle Royale games? And if you do, I'm sure you're going to enjoy this one. But if you don't, like me, you're going to be waiting, hey, where's the next Titanfall game? Where's the next Titanfall Team Deathmatch? When are we going to get that stuff? Maybe in the future. There's talks from the developers that they're working on another Titanfall title. And even if Apex Legends had different types of game modes, I could see possibly them adding on to that. However, Battle Royale is the flavor of the week and will continue to be so for a little bit while longer. And this is another solid entry point. It was more of the marketing endeavor of what Respawn decided to do. And they even quoted as saying that, listen, we know that people are not going to want to hear about loot boxes, microtransactions, and have this long tail release of information when it's under the banner of EA, which is not hot right now. Instead, let the players play it for themselves. They did, and that's why it's been so successful so far. Oh, and how nice it has been to have a company release a game that's complete instead of trickling down or trickling out more and more of the features or the maps. And this is really a big lesson that the Battlefield folks over at DICE should have learned a long time ago, and unfortunately is repeating the same mistake over and over and over again with this live service type of, it's not even that good of a service. I feel gypped where I paid full price for Battlefield 5. The game went on sale for half price a week later and continues to be on sale. I still don't feel I have the full package when it comes to Battlefield 5. Maps are missing that seem integral to World War II and that type of experience when it comes to our history and loving video games and loving first-person shooters in that genre. For some of the biggest maps and biggest type of gameplay elements and biggest battles that we can have on these servers, 32 versus 32, why is there no D-Day map? Why is there no Battle for the Bulge map? These maps existed ever since Medal of Honor. I mean, right after the release of Saving Private Ryan, Steven Spielberg was involved in the development of Medal of Honor and trying to create those scenes that he made in the movies in a video game setting. And video games have obviously increased almost 100-fold when it comes to graphics and sound design and how much they can fit into that entertainment package of a video game. So that is the biggest disconnect, where we see one company, Respawn Entertainment, who had a full-on plan of attack of what they wanted to do in the most popular gaming space right now, and that is Battle Royale games. And they hit it out of the park, and good for them. Whereas Battlefield, who has been the king of their type of large game formats, continues to crash and burn. I have a number of videos on my J.Gray Plays playlist, which shows that we're getting, top squads. We're performing very, very well playing the game in and of itself. But still, it feels so lackluster. It feels like it's missing so much, and I've paid full price for it. And yet I still don't have the content that I'm waiting for or expecting. I don't know what type of plan or format Battlefield's going to have going forward when it comes to their Firestorm Battle Royale, but this was the biggest point of disconnection for me, was when the executives and the PR came out lately about the stock decline for EA games and also the huge decline in the sales numbers for Battlefield 5. Now, it sold over 7 million copies, but the executives are not happy with that total sales figures, and I can see why. But they chalked it up to, well, the space is very crowded with Fortnite, and instead of doing a Battle Royale mode right at launch, we went for a single-player campaign mode, and that's what hurt us. No. What hurt you was the horrific marketing campaign that your team executed, the insults that one of your developers threw towards fans of the game, and just the overall tone deafness that your company has had, overall, that we've seen over and over again, but when it came specifically to the Battlefield genre. And there's tons of videos on YouTube that dive into it in a very specific way. But overall, you insulted your customer base, and you left the product lacking in the core functionality, in the core maps that we should have for this type of game. I really hope that they have way better maps coming out, because the maps right now are boring. Not all of them, but the majority of them are, to a point where I want to stop playing, and I want to move on to maybe another game format, or just turn off the game, move on to another game altogether. Battlefield needs serious help, but it doesn't need help from the executives at EA. It needs the people at DICE to rein in and reconfigure what makes Battlefield so great, what separates it from the rest of the shooters, and to stick to that. And please come out with some better maps. Also, I really hope that the next Battlefield is Battlefield Vietnam. It's in the name. Battlefield 6, the V and the I in Vietnam. Please do not screw this up, even though you have a habit of doing so. Good to see the success of Apex Legends has also bumped up the stock numbers for EA, but man, what a wild ride. Shoot, I should have bought low and sold high during this week. That brings me finally to the Kombat Kast. We got to see Kabal in action, and my, there are a little bit of changes here, but I really like the mid-game, the neutral game from all these characters that we've seen so far, including Kabal. How much of a threat that you can be and how much movement that you can have within that mid-game scope. Also seeing his speed dash come back. It's a lot of fun, and his fatality is something else. Just a little morsel for us to get closer and closer to more character reveals and more hands-on gameplay. We're about a month and a half away from the beta. Another big release was Devora. We saw some artwork from her, but no in-game videos or in-game content yet. Looking forward to that. So around the corner, we got Kombat Kast coming out this Thursday. I believe the only hint is her. My guess is it's Shiva. A lot of people are saying Katana. We don't know. I'm going to look forward to seeing more and more of the numbers come out from Apex Legends and what other YouTubers are saying about this game and what the evolution will be for Respawn. And the reason why is, again, I know I've emphasized this like 4 or 5 times. I'm not a big Battle Royale fan, but I am a Titanfall fan. And if this allows them to have the finances necessary to give us a Titanfall game with Team Deathmatch, then I'm all for it. Let me know if you're playing Apex Legends, if you have the same thoughts about Battlefield, how would you improve Battlefield 5, and what are you most excited for when it comes to Kombat Kast? Will it be Shiva? Will it be Katana? Or will it be somebody else that we haven't guessed yet? Thanks for your time.